What does it feel like, I guess, knowing that you might be facing the same team 4 times in the next month?
It just is what it is. Obviously the schedule was drawn up that way, so it's exciting now. MLS feels that they've done a master stroke there with these games finishing up like this, and us both competing for the Supporters Shield. And then obviously there's a possibility of meeting in the second round of the playoffs, and we want to be there, and I'm sure they want to be there as well. So it'll be an interesting, fun test, for sure. But we always enjoy playing good teams, and they're a good team. I think they are the same. Quality players like to play against quality players, so I think they're looking forward to it, and so are we.
In all your time in the league, do you ever remember it coming down like this between 2 teams, last 2 games of the season?
As I said, I don't think it's come down to where the 2 teams played each other. So I think it's come down to Supporters Shield on the last day, who's going to get these points, and it's come down to goal difference or whatever the tiebreaker was in the past. But I don't think it's ever come down to 2 teams playing each other. I keep telling you guys got to look that up. That's your job. But I really don't think it's come down to that, as I can remember, at least not in my years in the league.
Does it change the strategy at all, knowing that you could face the same team that many times?
No, we just got to, you always try, and I know it's a stupid cliche, 1 game at a time type of thing, but, we want to focus on the game coming up on Sunday, and then we'll focus on the next game after that. We want to make sure that we're right, we want to make sure that we're doing the things that we feel we can do and that we're capable of, so it's most important that we take care of our own game.
With this match coming down to Supporters Shield and seeding in the Western Conference, but also it being Landon's last home match at StubHub, how does that emotion just kind of change the landscape of the match?
Well, it's going to be an emotional game for them, obviously. It's an emotional game for Landon. I think everybody's seen the way he's played since he came forth and made the announcement that he's going to retire. And it's basically he's played very loose and very free and very well. And so hopefully he'll lose some of that. But he's a quality player, and when he's on form and when he's happy and motivated to play, then he's the kind of player that can dominate games. So we just got to make sure that we dominate the game, and that we keep the ball away from him as much as possible, that we don't give him a chance to influence the game. But for sure, the emotion that his teammates will feel, some have played with him a long time, is something that's going to factor into their determination and their effort.
With Clint getting 65 minutes in the match yesterday, how does that affect his role this weekend?
He should be fine, unless he took a knock or something like that. But he didn't report anything to me, and DeAndre's fine as well, so they should be ready to go.
When do you anticipate getting them back to the team?
They're coming back today, so we'll have them in. They'll do some stuff, in terms of just like regeneration type stuff and massage and things like that. So they'll be ready to train on Friday.
After the disappointing loss last Friday, do you see it kind of as extra motivation for your guys out here, or has it not really factored into them at all?
It's not a bad thing to get slapped a little bit late in the season. Just sort of wakes you up, everybody. And I think for us, I thought Vancouver played a very disciplined, tactical game. So it was a good learning game for us as well. But at this stage of the season, the guys knew what we didn't do well in terms of breaking down Vancouver, and they knew that okay, if we go into this again, we'll know how to do it and we'll do it well. So I'm not worried.
Have you heard anything from the league about the breakdown in the officiating with their earpieces and all of that? What happened there?
I don't know. I sent an inquiry. Have not heard as to why they didn't have their communication pieces for that game. I think it's become a standard piece of equipment. So it's something that definitely has to be resolved in terms of. I don't think you can play a game without it. At this stage, I think it's something that they've gotten used to. Not in terms of it being a crutch for the referees, but I think it's a piece of equipment that they've gotten used to, and so they, it's got to be there. It's like all of a sudden saying to the guys, okay, today we have no shin guards, you're going to play without shin guards. I'm sure a lot of guys would be happy about that, but some guys probably wouldn't. It's a piece of equipment.
Had a couple of follows on the S2 thing. Could you talk a little bit about, obviously it gets minutes for your guys and more games, but are they somehow more quality games when like a league standings matter more maybe than MLS Reserve did?
It's definitely a better situation for our players to play in because, a lot of times the reserve games you're playing in front of maybe, especially away, you're playing in front of 10 people and somebody walking their dog in the park and, and you're trying to say, okay, you want to be motivated. So it's like tough like in Colorado where you play a game and you're in front of the fans in the stands and, and TV and everything else, and then you come out the next morning and say, okay, guys who were on the bench last night or played 15 minutes, let's get motivated again to play, and there's nobody there and it's on a practice field. It's a little bit tougher. So now you've got games that are meaningful. There's an end product to the result of those games. There's a playoff participation. There's a win bonus money that's available. When you're winning those games, there's going to be fans. There's going to be an atmosphere, and I think all of that makes the game a better approximation of what the first team game's like, and so it's better preparation for the players, not only from a soccer standpoint. I think the soccer might be similar or the same, but just from a standpoint of all the other things that go into playing a game, the emotional preparation, how you react in situations where a game's on the line and it means something.
And then just in terms of sort of movement between the two teams, I mean, do you de facto have a 40-man roster now, or are there limits in going up and down between the squads?
We're still trying to get clarity on all that works. I think with the Galaxy this year, it worked a little bit differently than the way it's going to work for everybody next year. I think it's going to change a little bit. I think the MLS rosters are actually going to get a little smaller as a result of it. But, so then the movement it's going to be a week-to-week type of thing. So I don't know if it expands us to a 40-man roster. I think it keeps us probably at a total 30-man roster as it is. But there's certainly players that can move up and down within that group.
Stefan, we had talked a little while back about how you said it took him a little while to settle in, but you had seen him growing into his role. How would you kind of chart his season here for you guys?
Same. I think it's been fine. I think he's grown into it. He's gotten better with it. It's for goalkeepers, games are most important, and that's why you see goalkeepers really get better and better as they get older. You look at the U.S. national team right now, and Timmy Howard and Nick Raimondo are two of the top three goalkeepers for our national team, and those were the guys who played for me in '99 on the under-20 team. And they're probably playing their best soccer now. So it's something that you can grow with, but you need those games, you need those experiences, and so he had a few years there in Toronto where he wasn't getting those games and experiences, and now he's getting those, and I think I think his character is good. I think his mentality is good.
Is there anything you can take away by seeing LA 4 times? I mean, a potential 4 times, at least 2 times in the next 2 matches that you can kind of learn from their mistakes and learn from their strengths?
I think LA knows us pretty well, and I think we know LA pretty well. I don't. Obviously when you play against each other, there's always little individual duels that I think players take away from it a little bit. But in terms of knowing how the other is going to sort of approach the game, I think we sort of have a feel for that. They have a feel for us. We have a feel for them. And it comes down, I think, on each game as to execution. Who executes, who completes, their plays, who sticks to their game plan. But it's not even so much the game plan as it is the ability to make plays and execute things. That's going to determine the victor in each game.
Sorry, one more follow-up to the USL stuff. Since it's essentially a pipeline that goes from USL to first team, would you guys implement a coach that has the same sort of coaching style and tactically, or would they have their own identity?
No, what the most important thing is for us and the team is, we want the USL team to be a younger group of players. We don't want a bunch of 28, 29, 30-year-old guys on the team just to win the USL Championship. That's not what the objective of the team is. The objective of the team is to be a good team, to compete, and to have a chance at the championship. But we want to do it with a nucleus of younger players. So the coach, when we pick the coach, is going to be charged with his main thing is it's how many players can you help produce for the first team, not how many titles can you hang up on the wall. If you can hang up titles along the way, certainly we expect that, and certainly we expect the coach to win more games than he loses, because I think that's part of development is players learning how to win. I think that's part of the growth of players, but it's about developing players for that next level. So having a coach who understands what we're trying to do, our philosophy, it's going to be very interactive amongst the coaching staff. So it's not going to be okay, we'll see we'll see you every 3 weeks when we come to one of your games or something. There's going to be a constant dialogue, constant interaction between the coaching staffs.
What's your favorite Halloween memory?
My favorite Halloween memory. I was never a big Halloween guy, but there is a picture of me when my mom dressed me up as a girl when I was like 3 years old, and it was in the snow in Germany, and because she showed me the album, so I just see the picture of myself, and I got a stupid hat on, and I'm crying like a madman, but can't really remember it. I do remember the picture because I've seen it. So I've never been a super huge Halloween guy. I was one of those guys when I got older. I'd sort of put a bag over my shoulder and find a cowboy hat to wear and say, yeah, I'm a cowboy, give me some candy, or something like that. I was never a big Halloween guy that way, but. Yeah, but I do remember that picture. But that wasn't actually. It was different in Germany because that's actually like Mardi Gras. So it was like Fasching, which is in February. That's why the snow was on the ground. So.
In Germany, is it common for moms to dress up their sons as girls?
I don't know. She did. She also tried to curl my hair once. So there's a picture of me with Santa, and my hair's in curls. So you can see how straight my hair is. So it's like, that was sort of funny. And she would have been happy with Kurt, my son, because his hair is curly. And when he was younger, we let it grow long, and a lot of people thought he was a girl because we let his hair grow long. But but mine was never curly. She always wanted it to be. Isn't it always the case? People have straight hair want curly hair, and people have curly hair want straight hair. That's why you have those freaking hair straighteners, and the other people have the things that curl them up. I don't know. It never makes sense. You're never happy.
Who in the clubhouse do you expect to have the best Halloween costume this year?
Oh, jeez. It would be a good. I would imagine Evans is probably a big Halloween guy, so I imagine he would do something. Marshall could be interesting. He's another one. Josh Ford is another one that could be very interesting. Yedlin, obviously, I think, would be another one. I'd say those would probably be my top 4 picks. Hanneman, he would just dress up like a big salmon fisherman or something.